sponsored bullying prevention legislation that fortunately was signed by the governor and became law that mandated that in our schools we have bullying policies that protect our students against this kind of hateful rhetoric. And and we also know that the mental health of our children is at stake with what we're talking about here in terms of ensuring that our children can go to school and not have to worry about what somebody's saying about them and their how they feel about themselves and their bodies and their choices that they make. All of those things should be protected. And so from that perspective, look, this is a no-brainer. When we've had our teen town halls, every single one of them have had numerous students who have talked about the concerns of bullying and the effects that it has on them. And so we know that this isn't just something that affects our kids. This is something that affects all of us. All you have to do is take one trip down Twitter lane and you'll see the bullying that constantly exists from people who weren't checked as children and who now have become adult bullies. It's very clear and apparent. And so from that perspective, we owe it to our society, to our community, to do a much better job of ensuring that people understand bullying should not be tolerated in our communities. So I really want to thank everyone for all of their great work. The Committee Against Hate and Violence, our Office of Human Rights, all the stakeholders, our Montgomery County Council of PTAs and others who continue to push for this each and every day to ensure that our community becomes a more welcoming place, a more just and peaceful place. So thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you very much, Councilmember Jawando.
Thank you, Councilmember Rice. Mr. Simon, do you want to say a few words on behalf of your committee?
Yes, please. Thank you. Just before, I borrowed these from my daughter. So good morning, members of the council. My name is Craig Simon. I'm vice chair of the Committee Against State Violence. I'm joined today by committee members Pablo Blank and Director Jim Stowe with the Office of Human Rights. As representatives from Montgomery County Committee Against State Violence, I'd like to express our thanks to the County Council and County Executive leadership for their roles in fighting all forms of hate and violence and bullying. As many of you are aware, bullying takes on many different forms. Many stem from threats being sent to people simply because they are perceived as being different. We know that it is the uniqueness of each person that makes our community special. Thank you, Councilmember Rice and Councilmember Jawando and all members of the council for this proclamation and helping to lead the fight against bullying. Whether it is moving away from victim blaming or educating others about the negative impacts of bullying, we know the county is moving in the right direction. At a time when the country is seeing an increase in hate activities and hate groups feel empowered to act, the need for greater community awareness and education on bullying prevention, mitigation, and other acts of hate and intimidation are even more important. We intend to plan a series of county-wide campaigns, community forums, and town hall meetings to educate the community in the near future. We will be seeking the council's participation and funding support for these special efforts. The Committee Against Hate Violence looks forward to continuing our work with the council, MCPD, and MCPS and making Montgomery County a welcoming place for everyone. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Mr. Simon, and thank you for all your work. We'll read the proclamation. Councilmember Rice, are you in a position to read to go back and forth, or do you need me to read the entire proclamation?
No, it'd probably be better if you read it.
Okay. Yeah, we don't want to cause any accidents here. All right. So I will read this proclamation on behalf of both of us, but also the entire council. Whereas for almost a decade, October has been recognized as National Bullying Prevention Month, a time when we recognize the myriad of short and long-term detrimental effects of bullying, including a loss of self-esteem, increased anxiety and depression, and increased drug and alcohol abuse. And whereas bullying is any type of physical, verbal, or emotional harm or intimidation directed at an individual or a group of people that can occur anywhere in our neighborhoods, schools, playgrounds, and through technology, such as the internet and cell phones. And whereas bullying can have negative impacts on the emotional, mental, and physical health that can stay with victims for decades and can lead to long-term academic challenges, difficulty maintaining friendships or relationships, and self-destructive behavior. And whereas it will take a concerted effort, and I'm really glad to hear, Mr. Simon, your plans for the committee. It will take a concerted effort from all members of our community to stomp out bullying and build an inclusive society for all of our residents by putting victims first and expanding educational efforts to put an end to all forms of bullying. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the County Council of Montgomery County, Maryland, hereby recognizes October as National Bullying Prevention Month, presented on this day, the 6th of October in the year 2020, signed by Councilmember Rice, myself, and the Council President Katz on behalf of all of us. So congratulations, and thank you for all the work that you're doing. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, and thank you to Will and both Craigs for all of your hard work on this. You know, it's been noted many times, and it needs to be noted many more times, that bullying is not ever acceptable. And if someone, you know, the expression, if you see something, say something. If someone is being bullied, they need to say something to one of us or to their teachers or whoever, their parents, whoever it is, so that we can help correct that the bullying will not continue. It is never acceptable, and we will stand together to make certain that it does not continue. So thank you very much for all of your hard work. And with that, we're going to move on to our third presentation today, which is for Hispanic Heritage Month. It's our commemoration, which is also hard to believe. This is the seventh year for that, and how quickly those many good years have happened to all of us. We're extremely proud to be here. I'm very proud to be I'm always proud to work with all my colleagues, but especially today, when I know that Councilmember Navarro and Councilmember Albernaz are going to have a few welcoming remarks as well. And then we're going to see a commemoration video, which I understand is about 10 minutes. But, you know, when the title of it is Latinx Heroes Leading, Healing, and Providing Hope During the Pandemic. And you could say that for, in many cases, before the pandemic happened, but certainly, especially since the pandemic has happened. Thank you, each and every one, for saving lives, because that's what you're doing. And with that, I'm going to turn over this part of the meeting to Councilmember Navarro, and then followed by Councilmember Albernaz.
Thank you, Mr. President. You're absolutely right. Time does fly. It's amazing. Here we are hosting another celebration commemorating Hispanic Heritage Month. This is our seventh, as it was already mentioned. Of course, we're doing it in a virtual fashion. I started these commemorations 7 years ago because our nation, state, and county are enriched by the Latin American community, whose members have important roles in shaping our character as a community with limitless possibilities. Montgomery County's Latin American population totals more than 207,500 residents who represent more than 22 countries of origin. Of course, at the national level, the Latin American community is about 60 million strong. Here in Montgomery County, our largest population of Latin American residents come from El Salvador, Mexico, Peru, Guatemala, and Honduras. Our county is truly a microcosm of our nation's changing demographics, and it's important that we celebrate our shared heritage by recognizing the valuable contributions that the Latin American community makes across our county, especially during a time marked by what I call the twin pandemics, COVID-19 and the renewed reckoning with systemic racism. Last year, our council's Hispanic Heritage Month was historic. For the first time ever, we had live music and salsa dancing in the council's hearing room. It was a high energy celebratory event. This year is a more somber yet inspirational celebration. We are showcasing a video honoring members of the Montgomery County's Latin American community, which, as our theme goes, are heroes among us who have been leading, healing, and providing hope during the pandemic. I want to thank our bilingual communications specialist, Leanne Mas, cameraman Raul Ramos, my staff, and Councilmember Alborno's staff for putting the celebration together. Among those who you will see highlighted in this video are Grace Rivera Oven, who launched the Up County Hub, along with Black Rock Center for the Arts. She's also now helping us in county government to expand the hub model. Mario Alvarado Villa, founder and executive director of INCAF, a nonprofit organization serving vulnerable youth and families. Oneida Hernandez, a student from the University of Maryland and founder of Audelia Community Response, that is helping families across the region. Sonia Mora of the Latino Health Initiative, and members of the Latino Health Steering Committee. A valuable county employee, Sonia Mora is a public health professional who is leading the Latino COVID-19 initiative for Nuestra Salud y Bienestar. And the Latino Health Steering Committee are a group of dedicated health professionals who have helped, and they came together very quickly to launch this very important initiative. Yelitza Medina, she's a Venezuelan American nurse who got her certification as part of our Welcome Back Center program and is now caring for so many at Holy Cross Hospital. In general, all of our Latin American essential workers in the areas of medicine, healthcare, emergency responders, cleaning and maintenance, interpretation, COVID-19 testing, case management, helplines, and more. We thank them for coming together during this global pandemic in the spirit of generosity. I say it often, but it is even more important to repeat it loudly at this critical point in our history. Montgomery County's diversity, it's its strength. People from every corner of the globe come to our community seeking peace, stability, and a better quality of life for their families. In turn, they contribute greatly to our county's values of inclusion and compassion for one another. As we celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month, let's recommit ourselves to those values because together we are stronger.
Thank you very, very much. Councilmember Albernaz.
Well, Councilmember Navarro said it absolutely beautifully, and it really does continue to be an honor to serve alongside her and call her a friend. I also want to send a special shout out to the members of my team, Lillian Cruz and Mayra Bayonet, who are incredible public servants and serve our community every single day. And I want to take a moment, well, actually a couple moments with points of privileges. One, I'm wearing pink today because it is my daughter Teresita's birthday. So a very special day. So she's turning 4 today. So shout out to her. And I brought something today that's pretty special to our family that my mom shared with me to bring with all of you. On October 15th, we'll mark the 49th anniversary that my mom became a United States citizen. And she shared with me the brochure and has kept all of the letters that she received at the time from the various elected officials that were in office at the time, and always remembers fondly and warmly that special day because it was a special day in our family. My dad received his citizenship 2 years later. My dad immigrated here from Ecuador, my mom from Chile. And I want to read a line from the letter that Congressman Sarbanes sent to my mom at the time. One of the greatest strengths of this nation is the splendid contribution which has been made by those born in other countries. I am certain you will continue that fine tradition and help to make the United States a better home for all people. Our Latino and immigrant population make contributions in every way imaginable, economically, culturally, and they have truly been on the front lines, as so many have during the pandemic. Service workers continuing to report to work to keep our economy moving and to clean and ensure that our facilities are safe. Healthcare workers who are providing critical translation services to multicultural populations. Public health leaders and economic leaders who have kept their businesses running and thriving and open and trying their best to continue to serve our community through this extraordinarily difficult time. So I stand, and all of us stand with all of you, but this is an opportunity for us to reflect and acknowledge the incredible contributions of our Latino community. And I am so proud of the people that we are recognizing today who each and every day make contributions that keep us safe, that keep us moving, and that make this community the strong community that it is. So, Mr. Council President, thank you so much for that point of privilege, and I look forward to seeing the video this morning.
Thank you, and I do as well. And you know, many times Councilmember Albernaz, also Councilmember Navarro, but especially Councilmember Albernaz, brings up moments that I too get teary because of remembering things that have happened in my life. Both of my grandparents, all of my grandparents were made naturalized citizens. And I remember vividly my grandmother Wolfson, who had a store that I actually owned, how proud she was of the day, because I remember when that happened with her, how proud she was that she became a naturalized citizen. And I also remember that during, and Grace Rivera Oven is going to be on the call, and I always think of how much older I've gotten because I knew her, and I think since she was born, and know her for 3 generations. But when Grace will recall that we used to have what used to be Old Town Day in Gaithersburg, naturalized citizens as part of that ceremony. And Judge Jerry Hyatt, who has since passed away, he was a very, very fine man. And in those days, they let judges actually do the ceremony. Now, I don't believe they do. But Judge Jerry Hyatt turned to the crowd and said to them after he swore them in, and he was an imposing man. He was a large man. He said, you know, I had ancestors come over on the Mayflower, and no one is more of an American today. All of us are no more of an American today than in each of you. And it's always stuck in my mind. So thank you all for doing all of this. And let me stop speaking so we can actually see this video, please.
In the state of Maryland, Montgomery County has been the second hardest hit jurisdiction by the coronavirus. In the county, Black and brown communities have disproportionately felt the impact of this virus. The Hispanic community in particular has had the highest rate of infection, requiring an unprecedented policy response led by 2 fearless Latino leaders, Council Member Nancy Navarro and Gabriel Albornoz, with the support of their council colleagues, and hand in hand with the community-based organizations have provided much-needed relief. On the front lines, there have been hundreds of essential workers, including all medical personnel, who day in and day out are fighting this invisible enemy, and in many cases, risking their lives to save the.
Can someone from technical staff know what we should be doing right now, please?
In the state of Maryland, Montgomery County has been the second hardest hit jurisdiction by the coronavirus. In the county, Black and brown communities have disproportionately felt the impact of this virus. The Hispanic community in particular has had the highest rate of infection, requiring an unprecedented policy response led by 2 fearless Latino leaders, Council Member Nancy Navarro and Gabriel Albornoz, with the support of their council colleagues, and hand in hand with the community-based organizations have provided much-needed relief. On the front lines, there have been hundreds of essential workers, including all medical personnel, who day in and day out are fighting this invisible enemy, and in many cases, risking their lives to save the lives of others.
The United States has given a lot to a lot of countries, so I'm proud of being able to help and being part of the Hispanic community
It
and
is
help.
my understanding that it's being shown on our station and streaming, but they haven't been able to get it so that we can actually see it. And you can see it on YouTube. So I guess anybody, I'm going to switch over to YouTube, or wait a minute, I'm getting another message. We're going to try it again, I think.
In the state of Maryland, Montgomery County has been the second hardest hit jurisdiction by the coronavirus. In the county, Black and brown communities have disproportionately felt the impact of this virus. The Hispanic community in particular has had the highest rate of infection, requiring an unprecedented policy response led by two fearless Latino leaders, Councilmember Nancy Navarro and Gabriel Albornoz, with the support of their council colleagues. And hand in hand with the community-based organizations have provided much-needed relief. On the front lines, there have been hundreds of essential workers, including all medical personnel, who day in and day out are fighting this invisible enemy, and in many cases, risking their lives to save the lives of others.
The United States has given a lot to a lot of countries, so I'm proud of being able to help and being part of the Hispanic community and help in those difficult times of COVID-19.
Thank you for risking everything and being away from your families to selflessly serve your community. Thank you for the long hours of work and every sweat and tear shed during this pandemic. Thank you on behalf of those who lost their battle, as you did everything humanly possible to provide care and support. Thank you for lifting up the Hispanic community during this pandemic and beyond. Certainly, Montgomery County is blessed to have angels on earth like you. During Hispanic Heritage Month, we especially want to honor all of our Hispanic heroes for leading, healing, and providing hope during this pandemic. An unstoppable force, that is Grace Rivera Oven, a Bolivian immigrant who has done nothing more than dedicate herself completely to the service of her community. For years, she has given her time and effort to help shape a more just and inclusive Montgomery County. For her, the year 2020 has not been the exception. The pandemic that paralyzed the world propelled Grace to reach new levels of service and fill in important gaps to better respond to the need of our Latino community. In partnership with Black Rock Center for the Arts, Grace brought together a community hub to bring access to much-needed essential items for children, families, and seniors impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. From distributing food to providing COVID detection tests, contact tracing, and access to telemedicine service. They are certainly saving lives.
This is a community that welcomed me and my family when we arrived here. And so it's a full circle, and I just feel like everything I have done in my life till today has prepared me for this moment. All the connections that I have made, all the boards that I have served on, all the commissions that I have served on. Everybody, that I know has been able to somehow impact the work that we're doing with the community.
An invaluable advocate for those who need it most.
Grace is what I call a warrior of the light. Her authenticity, passion, and purpose are things I admire in her. While COVID-19 has brought to light long-entrenched inequities, we have also witnessed a surge in leaders who are ensuring that the most vulnerable among us are taken care of. As we fight this pandemic, we have established new bonds and grown closer as a community. Endurers like Grace and those in the front lines are giving hope and elevating our humanity.
Neither the fear of being infected nor any other risk or challenge has managed to stop Grace's commitment. Her determination to give back to the community that has given her so much has motivated her own children to follow the same path.
It's great to work with family. My mother, being the director of all of this, is amazing as she's taken the lead and taken the charge and has seen the need in the community.
Our community is better off because of Grace. And during Hispanic Heritage Month, we honor her work and dedication to her community. She is truly a hero among us. In times of COVID-19, the most important factor to avoid the virus from spreading is cleanliness. Hundreds of Latino workers have been there to disinfect our hospitals, health clinics, office buildings, supermarkets, schools, and more. They have always been and will continue to be essential employees because their hard working hours is what allow us to have clean and livable spaces. Our lives depend on them. The lives of our healthcare employees have been in their hands now more than ever. There is no word that can describe the appreciation that as a county we feel towards each of them. Thank you very much for putting your own life at risk to ensure the welfare of others. Thank you because you have been boots on the ground since day one and have overcome your own fear of being infected. We feel safer because of you, and that is why you have become our VIP heroes. From the people and for the people is the phrase that best characterizes Mario Alvarado Villa. Hailing from Honduras and a taxi driver by profession, Mario has had an immeasurable impact within the Hispanic community of Montgomery County and surrounding jurisdictions. His nobility and empathy for those most in need leads him to give everything in exchange of nothing. At the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, Mario used his own savings to bring food to families that were in precarious situations, and with that same spirit, he organized his fellow taxi drivers. Together, and through the organization that he founded, INCAEF, they managed to get Montgomery County to grant them $60,000 as part of the earlier COVID-19 food assistance funding. Spearheaded by council members Albornoz, Navarro, and Rice, and unanimously approved by the council. Mario used the funds to purchase and distribute culturally adequate food items for the families he served. This grant expanded his capacity from helping 100 low-income Hispanic families to more than 1,000.
El punto grande es que Dios lo utilice a uno, que sea uno esa persona que Dios diga como mira, te voy a dar la misión, llévale a él. O sea, ese es el punto importante. El dinero no es importante, el dinero es algo que en esta pandemia nos hemos dado cuenta. Mucha gente que tiene dinero se ha quedado el dinero ahí y ellos no han podido sobrevivir, tristemente, ¿verdad?
He has a unique perspective because as a Latino man from and of the community, he is able to truly grasp the magnitude of the need and respond to challenges that this vulnerable population is experiencing. And from there, he managed to understand that a large percentage of Hispanics and single mothers could not go to other food distribution sites since they require a car. So with fellow taxi drivers, they hand deliver food to their homes.
Yo le agradezco mucho, tanto a él y como tanto a la gente que a él le ayuda para que nos venga a dejar con nosotros.
Those who have seen his work and dedication know that what he does with his soul.
Mario is an angel. I am so impressed with his heart, his ability to connect to the community. It's clear that he sees a problem and he takes action. And it's clear that he's doing this for all the right reasons. And we need to do more to support Mario and people like Mario, because it's through these kinds of partnerships that we're really going to be able to make a difference in the community.
He claims that as long as he lives, he will continue to serve. For that reason, this county and the Latino community will always be grateful to this Hispanic hero.
No seamos solo críticos, sino portadores a la sociedad.
Coronavirus has taught us great lessons. It has pushed us to reach new limits, to discover new ways of survival, and above all, to be empathetic with our fellow neighbors. Many of our employees were forced to put their profession aside to serve in other areas of greater urgency. Many others have worked long hours in order to assist our residents in different ways, from mental health, county assistance applications, interpretation, housing, and more. Each and every one of you has played an important role during this pandemic. We are a county of excellence because of the work that you do. At the age of 24, Oneida Hernandez has proven to be an innate leader in her community. Her mother, who passed away recently, instilled in her the importance of giving a hand to those in need. And it is precisely what she has been doing non-stop since the coronavirus began to wreak havoc in the area. Hand in hand with her 7 siblings, they managed to establish a working group named in honor of their late mother, Community Help Audelia. In a few months, they already have 40 volunteers who provide all kinds of assistance to families at risk, from food, rent assistance, diapers, and even counseling.
These are hardworking families. They're not families that are here just to take up all the resources. They give back to the community. They put in their labor. They're trying to advance their own lives as well as their children's, and we're here just not to give them charity but to help them achieve that goal.
She has a clear understanding that the economic instability that many families face as a result of the pandemic and prior to it has great consequences not only in adults, but also leaves great emotional consequences for their children.
My mom is not working, so it's hard for us to buy food and stuff for us.
That is why every day she works hard to create real change in her community and bring little peace in the midst of so much anguish.
It means a lot for you to have somebody come into your house to deliver something that you need for you. I would say thank you for the job they are doing.
Oneida plans to establish a nonprofit organization so she can have greater impact in the community she loves and serves.
We're serving everyone in the community, not only the Latinx community, but anyone that is in need of help, we're willing to help. We're not here just to serve one specific community. We're here to help anyone that is in need of assistance for right now.
Without a doubt, Oneida Hernandez is a true Latino hero. The Hispanic force is incomparable. In 2020 has only proven that we are indispensable for the sustainability of this country and that we have the courage to face any challenge. We may have a long way to go, but we are certain that we will reach our final goal. Happy Hispanic Heritage Month.
Well, congratulations to the entire team that put on the video to remind us of the entire team that we needed to hear about, to be reminded about, who are truly saving, as I said before, saving lives right here in Montgomery County. Councilmember Navarro or Councilmember Albornoz, did you have anything in addition to add?
I do. This was such a beautiful video. I think that the remarks that we heard really does capture the spirit of this community. And earlier there was a proclamation regarding bullying. And I think that it is not lost on me that the resiliency of this community, it's very much aligned with the stories of so many immigrants. President Katz, you mentioned your grandparents. And, I am also that person that in 1996 became a naturalized citizen. And everybody that has come to this country for so many generations comes with that spirit of generosity and of willingness to help one another. And this particular time is a very tough time for the Latino American community, not only because of COVID-19, but because of much of the rhetoric that is coming on from the very top leadership of this country. But nonetheless, you see the resiliency from young people like Oneida to somebody like Grace Rivera Alvin, who's a staple in our community. We are not going to be discouraged. This community will not be discouraged. And as you saw from this young woman, her work is not just in helping the Latino community. They're there day in and day out, providing support for anyone that needs it. That's what gives me hope in these very difficult times. And I just want to thank the team from the County Council Communication Office, Berta Cersosimo, Mayra Cruz Solis from my office, who, you know, have been also sheroes in this community, exemplifying this spirit, and everybody who day in and day out does whatever they can to lend that hand. Many we will not see or recognize, but they're there. And in that spirit, I just say, muchísimas gracias por esa generosidad de espíritu. Thank you.
So that was beautifully said. I just have a couple more words to add as well. I have had the opportunity to visit the Germantown Hub on several occasions, and I've seen with my own two eyes the incredible team that Gracie has put together that is serving our community. And one of the most enlightening and powerful days that I've had since the beginning of the pandemic was joining Mario on one of his runs to deliver food to families. And it was a powerful experience, both to see the challenges and despair felt by so many families, but also the light in their eyes as Mario knocked on the door and delivered these critical services and critical supplies that these families needed at the most opportune time. So it has been incredible. And I do want to take a quick moment to also acknowledge the entire steering committee of the Latino Health Initiative, Monica Escalante, Dr. Olivia Carter Pocras, Maria Gomez, Dr. Michelle LaRue, Dr. Ana Maria Izquierdo, Dr. Cesar Palacios, Maria Elena Rocha, Diego Riburu, and Nurse Yelitz Medina, who have been doing really remarkable work in coordinating the Nuestra Salud y Bienestar initiative, and have set up a model that I think the entire region and our entire country can follow to really uniquely support the needs of our most vulnerable communities. So this is a good day to recognize those and so many other people on the front lines, and a good day to recognize the incredible accomplishments and contributions of our Latino community here and across this country. And thank you, Mr. President, and thank you to all of our colleagues who continue to support us in so many ways. So thank you so much.
Thank you. It's truly an honor to be here, and it's you know, it's always enjoyable, but this one had a special beyond just the normal. This one really did, and the fact that we couldn't see people face to face, it was different. But of course, we're so happy to be able to do all of this today. Well, with that, I don't see anyone else. So with that, we're going to move on to our general business. And Madam Clerk, do we have any announcements, changes to the agenda, or petitions?
Yes, good morning. Good morning, council members. Council President, there is one announcement and two petitions. The announcement is that the council is seeking applicants for 11 positions on the county's 11-member commission on redistricting. The deadline to apply for consideration is Monday, October 26, 2020 at 5 p.m. There are two petitions. The first petition is from residents of Montgomery County opposing ZTA 20-01 Solar Collection Systems AR Zone standards. The second petition is from residents of Montgomery County supporting the adoption of ER 12-20, the 2018 version of the International Green Construction Code, IGCC 2018, for new commercial buildings. That is all, Council President.
Thank you very much. The minutes have been distributed for, and we have several minutes here, but for June 9th, 2020, August 4th, 2020, and approval of the closed session minutes for September 15th, 2020 have been distributed. Those minutes have been distributed, and unless there are any corrections, they will be approved as received. Very good. The next item that we have is our consent calendar. And we need a motion to approve our consent calendar.
Let's approve the consent calendar.
Councilmember Reamer, and who was the second?
Second.
Councilmember Friedson. We have to approve it. Councilmember Glass, please. You were on mute. There we go.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to bring people's attention to the OLO report that is providing some context and shedding some light on the ride-on bus services. In short, we know that since this report was commissioned a year ago, a lot has changed in our community and in our world with regard to COVID-19 and the economic turmoil that so many in our community are facing. And the high level takeaway from this OLO report is the demographic groups that most use ride-on are the same residents who are most adversely affected by COVID-19 and the associated loss of jobs and housing. And so that is the main takeaway, that many of the people who are hurting right now will continue to hurt. And as we continue having tough budget conversations, I think this is really important information to keep in mind. And just really quickly, a few data points to share. 78% of ride-on users are people of color. 42% of ride-on users speak a language other than English at home. Nearly half of the riders have an annual household income of less than $30,000 a year. And most ride-on riders are residents of Montgomery County. So when we talk about social justice and equity here in Montgomery County, we have to think about the entirety of that context and how all of our public policies and budgetary decisions impact everybody and allow them or disallow them to live lives to their fullest, where they can receive an education, go to jobs, and simply go to the grocery store. So I want to thank the OLO staff for their thoughtful research in this project, and I will yield it back to you, Mr. Council President.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Navarro.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to highlight item D, which is an action item in our consent calendar, as they all are. This is an executive regulation 2619, employee compensation. Our government operations committee has recommended approval as submitted. And this particular regulation formally amends personnel regulations to comply with the Pay Equity Act, which was passed in 2019, as recommended by the Office of the Inspector General. And the Pay Equity Act prohibits the county from requesting salary history from an applicant for county employment and prohibits the county from relying on salary history to determine an applicant's starting salary. There were a few changes, basically removing language that required department directors to provide proof of the job candidate's prior or current salary when requesting approval to hire a candidate above the midpoint of the salary range, and removes other references to required documentation of current salary, adds a provision that states no county employee may ask a candidate to provide information or documentation about the candidate's current or past salary. However, a candidate may voluntarily provide that information, and it adds a provision stating that if the Office of Human Resources Director seeks approval to hire a candidate at a salary that is above the midpoint of the salary range or pay band, the request requires approval by the Chief Administrative Officer's designee. And the change is based on a recommendation made by the Inspector General. As you know, OHR did share with the Government Operations Fiscal Policy Committee that these changes will expedite the hiring process, but it does not have a firm time frame in terms of how much it would expedite it. But I think that this will be a really important issue, and OMB really didn't give a specific fiscal impact, but in reality, we feel that this would actually be a lot more useful, because if it does expedite and speed up OHR's ability to hire people, then I think that would be really useful. And that's it. I just wanted to highlight this very important regulation.
Thank you. Councilmember Rice.
Thank you very much, Council President, and really want to thank our Office of Legislative Oversight. Certainly want to thank Councilmember Glass for lifting this up. When it comes to access to mass transit in the county, region that oftentimes is one of the ones that's at the bottom of the list is our up-county region, one in which we continue to struggle to reinstate routes. Also, those that have the longest commutes to their places of employment. And so as we look at this from an equity perspective, we also know that a large portion of our up-county and mid-county, you know, folks that are in Montgomery Village and others, certainly have some of our longest commutes. And so that affects their ability to get to and from work. And as we start to reopen some of our businesses, it's really important. So much so that I ended up riding on Ride On just to see how the system was working, see who was riding it, see how we were treating when it came to physical distancing and what we were doing there. And seeing the people that are on that bus, the people who are our frontline workers, as Councilmember Albernos was saying before, and Councilmember Navarro was highlighting and lifting up, those are the people who are continuing to put themselves at risk for us to continue that continuity of our community moving forward. And so it's incredibly important to make sure that they also have high quality transportation, something that's reliable, something that's efficient. And so we'll continue to need to make sure that we're stressing that for the near future when we make our decisions about what routes we keep, how we want to enhance some of our routes to some of our areas, understanding just how important this is. And as we're trying to establish our green goals for this county as well as for this world, it'll be incredibly important for us as well to make sure that we're standing up our reliance on mass transit and making sure that it's doing what it needs to for our communities, primarily a lot of times our communities of color. So thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you. Councilmember Jawando.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also wanted to speak briefly to a couple of items. Item B, thank you, Councilmember Glass, and for raising this, and to Ms. Bryant, Ms. Hall for the great work on the report. I think it was enlightening, shared some things I thought I knew and some things that I wasn't quite sure what the levels were, and it was very helpful. And I think the point that was made about how we are going to recover and how this is going to change the nature of our community probably for a long time is very important. And as we're thinking about the routes and equity and how we make sure people get around and Purple Line obviously being in the state that it is and wanting to see that move forward, I really think that this is going to be one of the many things that underlines and undergirds the need to make our ride-on system free for everybody. I think we need to do that. And I think we need to use this information and the new ridership that will emerge and or be augmented by as we recover out of the pandemic. This is a critical, as this report underscores, a critical lifeline in a connected need for so many people. Similar to Councilmember Rice, I took a ride on Ride On during this pandemic as well to see and to visit the not only the frontline workers, but to see who was riding. And there are still in my part of the county, there's still a lot of ridership and people going to work every day and wearing their masks and sitting on the back half of the bus. And so we're going to need to invest in that to keep them safe, to keep those routes going, and then to make it a more efficient system. So I'm really glad that this report was done, and thank you to my colleagues for raising it. I also wanted to mention briefly give another shout out to my seat buddy, who's not, unfortunately, we don't sit next to each other now, Councilmember Glass, on the bill, and that was mentioned, the Pay Equity Act, that so that you can't ask for people's previous salary history. This is a problem that no matter where you are in the income scale, professional to first job, it impacts so many women and others. And I'm glad we're making this accompanying amendment to make it a little more effective and move it forward. It's also very auspicious that later today, we're going to be voting on my bill to deal with sexual harassment in the workplace. And at the same time, this is when, someone is sitting above. We've also get to welcome Tiffany Boyman, Tanya Bowie, Arlinda Clark, Donna Rojas, Sharita Shinoy, all who are being confirmed today to the Commission for Women. So this is a a big day, and we're doing a lot here for over half of our population. And so just wanted to shout those folks out in those issues. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Council Vice President Hucker.
Thank you, Mr. President, and good morning, everyone. I think, well, at this point, Councilmember Juando and Rice and Glass have said it very well. I just wanted to add my voice to the chorus, thanking Chris and Stephanie Bryant and the OLO staff for the terrific report on Ride On. And thank you all for your continued support of transit, and Councilmember Glass for the Purple Line Walk that I was able to join for on Saturday. The report, if you haven't looked at it, is really terrific. I'm going to continue to curl up with it. There's a lot there that we can use to shape our policy, but it largely says that we've been doing the right thing, and we need to continue. Ride On is serving our community. It's serving the population we need to serve the most in our community. We need to continue to maintain it and to continue to improve it. I'm very excited, in particular, next week. I don't think it's been mentioned about the launch of the Flash Bus. This isn't a subject of the report, but I'm very excited. Standing up the very first corridor, it will be happening next week. I was able to join a driver and Director Conklin at a training run yesterday. And contrary to the voices that you see on Twitter and elsewhere consistently, there have always been anti-transit voices that we have to deal with. But contrary to the voices you hear now that are saying, due to COVID, nobody's going to ride transit anymore. Consistently, I'm sure those are coming from people who have a car and are speaking from a place of privilege. But if you read this report, you know that Ride On is doing exactly what it needs to do. We need to continue to maintain the routes we have, continue to reimagine it and make sure it's as effective as possible with our limited funds, and continue to expand our last mile service and Ride On Flex and perfect that. We're doing innovative stuff. This report is going to help us continue that, but it's entirely within our commitment to racial equity and social justice, and to our commitment to treating essential workers that are keeping this county safe and moving forward like they're actually essential. So grateful again for the report and for all my colleagues' support of transit. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Navarro.
Thank you, Mr. President. I was so busy focusing on my role as GO chair and my reporting that I failed to also acknowledge the very important OLO report. Councilmember Hucker just mentioned Flash. I had an opportunity to visit also the Briggs Cheney station and was just so thrilled because for so many years we have known and we have worked on making sure that we could enhance access to transportation, especially in that part of the county. And it was just thrilling to see the station, the bus, had a chance to go inside the bus as well. It's really looks really great. And then also the art that will accompany all of these stations. The Arts on the Block, led by our former colleague from the Board of Education, Chris Barclay, is doing an amazing job. So there's a lot to celebrate. There's more to do. There's always more to do, which always, it makes me chuckle, I guess, when I read things on social media where people are so angry. And it's kind of like, okay, can we acknowledge that this is a step forward? Nobody's saying that this is it. But I think that for, in particular for that community in the East County is going to be so important. But also wanted to circle back on this confirmation for appointments to the Commission for Women, Tiffany Boyman, Tonia Bowie, Arlinda Clark, Donna Rojas, and Chaitra Shenoy. It is absolutely an auspicious day for the consent calendar as we approve these regulations on pay equity from what Councilmember Glass spearheaded and championed. And these appointments, I think more than ever, it is going to be so critical that we do everything possible to support women in so many levels. This commission really does incredible work working to make sure that issues of discrimination or prejudice on the basis of sex in such areas as housing, recreation, employment, education, community service, and the legal system, it really matters that those are addressed. And I think is really critical. And as we, hopefully get through this particular election in 2022, there will be a local election. And I hope that we will see a legacy of a lot more women elected to the county council and other offices, because I am a firm believer that women in these particular elected offices, that voice is absolutely necessary. And I just am so grateful to the Commission for Women for what they do. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Glass.
Thank you, Mr. President. So it must be one of those manic Tuesday mornings, at least for me, with my notes and trying to get things together. And the reason I needed to come back and talk a little bit more is because my morning this morning was a little frantic, and I really want to give a shout out to the Montgomery County Fire and Rescue Services. A little before 7 a.m., I saw a bright flash of light right outside my bedroom window and a deep boom. And what resulted was a fire on one of the utility poles right in front of my home. And within minutes, Fire and Rescue Services was there, putting out the fire that had drifted to the ground. And then when PEPCO came shortly thereafter, making sure that everyone in my community was safe. And so I'm in the office today. I think this is my first Tuesday council session, not from my home, but from the office because I have no internet service. But again, a big shout out to our emergency responders for helping me and my neighbors and for helping everybody in Montgomery County be safe when needed. And I just wanted to really quickly go back to the Pay Equity Act and the executive regulations, as has been mentioned. Over the last year and a half since that has been law, a number of county employees have been reaching out to me and sharing that the hiring process was not as they thought it was intended in the law, and not how I intended it in the law that was written. And so I appreciate OHR for working with us to improve the process, to streamline it, make it more transparent, and ultimately make it a process where individuals are paid fairly for the job they do, regardless of their gender expression or the color of their skin. So thank you all, and I yield back.
Thank you very much. Now, you said you lost your internet service. Did you lose your electricity?
I didn't. Strange enough, the electricity went out for a hot second, but the fire on the pole, and you can go to my social media where I posted one video, but there was a fire on the pole and it basically fried the cable, the internet lines. Yeah.
Right. Interesting. Well, thank you all very much. We have a motion by Councilmember Raymer, a second by Councilmember Friedson to approve our consent calendar. All those in favor, please raise your hand. And I think I see Councilmember Albornoz, is your hand up? And there you go. I saw everybody. Very good. It carries unanimously. Thank you very much. Well, we are 15 minutes early at this point, and I don't see Dr. Gales or Dr. Stoddard on the line. Is that correct? So I guess we're going to have to call. Why don't we say that we're coming back at, why don't we say 10:30, if everyone could be back at 10:30, so that's when Dr. Gales is supposed to be here. So we're on recess until 10:30. Thank you.
Well, that does it for this edition of The Bottom Line. For County Cable Montgomery, I'm Susan Kennedy. Hans, thanks so much for being with us today for this edition of In the Loop. We haven't talked to you for a while, so thank you today for being with us.
Yeah, glad to be back. Thanks.
Let me start off. This is your second year in your third term on the council, so you've been around for a little while. Yeah, you've been around for a little while. Talk a little bit about how things have changed. Your profile has kind of been raised a little bit more as a county leader.
Well, now I'm chairing a committee and chair of the Planning, Housing, Economic Development Committee. and I serve on the Transportation, Environment, Infrastructure Committee. It's a different cast of characters. We have 9 people, 4 new, a lot of council members who had been really big presences for a long time. They've transitioned out, and we have new people, new blood, new thinking, new creativity, new dynamics. It's a fun environment. I've always